Today I'm going to talk to you about how we calculate the area of a sector part of a circle. So let's talk about what a sector is first of all. So I'm going to draw a full circle to start with, and I'm going to break it across the diameters. Here's the centre of the circle, and I'm going to go all the way across. Now technically I've split the circle in half. This part here is a semicircle. We can also consider this as a sector. It's part of a circle, right? And we can also look at this as though it goes, there's an angle, right? There's an angle. If we think about a full circle has 360 degrees. If I'm going to work out the area of half of the circle, because that's what we're trying to look at, I know that the full circle is pi r squared, and I know I want to half it. So I'm going to do a half pi r squared. Now if we start looking at this angle and go, well, what fraction of a whole circle is this? It's actually 90, sorry, that's a quarter, apologies, let me start again. It's actually 180 degrees over 360 degrees. That's what fraction of the circle is what I'm trying to work the area out of. Which if I simplify this, it simplifies to a half, right? So we understand that we can use the angle, how much of this occupies, in order for us to calculate the area of this particular shape. So let's look at a quarter of a circle now. If I draw a quarter of a circle, so again there's the centre, okay, now this angle here occupies 90 degrees. So let's have a look. I want the area of 90 out of 360, lots of pi r squared. Look at this. 90 over 360 simplifies to become a quarter, which is what I would do if I wanted to work out the quarter of the circle, yes? Now, why am I talking about angles? Well, what happens if it's not so straightforward and we don't know what basic fraction, what simplified fraction we want? Let's suppose I want a slice of pizza, a sector, this amount here. Okay, now if I don't know what fraction of that circle is, then I can't do it. But if I'm told this angle here, if I have that angle there that it makes with the sector, let's suppose we call this angle theta, so just a variable, I can say that the area I'm trying to calculate is theta out of 360, lots of pi r squared. So that brings us to give you the formula for the area of a sector is theta over 360, so that's the fraction of the circle we want, lots of pi r squared. And that's the formula we're going to use to work out the area of a sector, given the fact that we have the angle, okay? Now let's also look at this. The radius of a circle is defined from the centre to the outside. So because all of my sectors I was talking about from the centre, we have the radius here. Sometimes, if we're talking about two, we talk about the plural of radius, which is radii. This is also a radius as well. Okay? So, I'm going to now use this formula to show you how to calculate the sector. Alright, so we're going to use this formula to calculate the area of this sector. So, it's not a nice angle, it's 80. So, we are trying to work out the area of this sector, which is 80 out of 360 of a full circle. That's what fraction of a full circle it is. And the circle would have a radius of 3 centimetres. So its area, just of this sector, is 80 over 360 multiplied by pi times the radius squared. Well, the radius is 3, so I'm going to multiply that by 9. Okay, I'll need a calculator to work this out because it's I'll probably write accurate to 2 decimal places. So, but I can simplify it a little bit. I can go, that's 80 multiplied by 9 pi all over 360. And I can do my simplifying. Hold on a second. So 80 over 360 simplifies to 2/9 because we divide them both by 40. And then my 9's cancel, so I'm left with 2 pi. I can calculate that, write it as a decimal as I said, or I can leave it as an exact value. Let's just go twice, 2 lots of pi is roughly 6.28, and we are in centimetres and we're doing area, so centimetres squared. You can also work out the area of what we call, this is a minor sector. A major sector just means we've got a reflex angle as the segment. So let's see, it looks a little bit like a Pac-Man. I don't know if you know that game. Here we go. So I could say that this is 60 degrees. Now that's not the area, or the, sorry, that's not the angle of the area that I'm interested in. I'm actually interested in this area here, the sector. So you can subtract 60 from 360 in this question and know that the angle you're dealing with is 300 degrees. So I'm actually interested in a fraction of a circle that's 300 out of 360 of its whole area. And let's suppose I gave a radius of 4 meters. So I'm going to do my working over here. I'm going to pop this into the formula. The fraction of the circle I want is 300 over 360. Okay, multiplied by pi multiplied by r squared, which is 4 squared, which then gives me, so let's see how far we can simplify this. So 300 divided by 360, both of those numbers we can divide through by 60. So dividing by 60 gives me 5/6. So 5, my brain block, 5 over 6 multiplied by pi times 4 squared, which is 16, okay? 5 times the 16 is 80, so I've got 80 pi over 6. Both 80 and 6 can divide into 2, so I'm left with 40 pi over 3 as my most simplified exact value. And I'm in meters, so my units are meters squared. Now, if I was going to evaluate that as a decimal, I'd type in 40 times pi divided by 3, and that would give me approximately 13 and a third. Okay, 13.3 recurring meters squared. And that's pretty much all you need to know about how to calculate the area of a sector.